Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Schiavone, online coach and personal trainer who specializes in fat loss for guys and girls just like you, using a mix of weight training and flexible dieting. Today, the topic of our video is going to be one that I get asked a lot, and that's where does fat go when we burn it? So when we eat food, the food that we eat is fuel. It goes towards powering all the different functions that go on throughout our body. And all the food that we put in, what we don't use and can't use as energy, gets, pumped out the other side. It's a fairly efficient system. So all that food is being used for all these daily activities as the body absorbs it. But what happens when you don't have enough energy from food to fuel your daily activities? Well, that's where your body then turns to fat to make up that deficit in order to power you through whatever it is you're doing. So fat is basically like a battery for your body. It's there whenever you need it, when you need that extra boost of energy to complete a task. But where does it go once it's been burned off? Now, fat cells in the body are predominantly developed during adolescence and puberty, and the number of fat cells we have in the body stays relatively the same throughout your life. What changes is the size of those cells. Think of them as like an empty balloon. You blow air into it, you fill it up, it expands. That's what a fat cell does when excess energy that's not being used needs to be stored. So the fat cell swells, and then as we use energy, the fat cell shrinks, and you'd be left with, say, your deflated balloon, but the cell never goes away. Now, fat cells or adipose tissue are important. They can send out hormones into the body that regulate your metabolism and also your weight. But like I mentioned, when you gain weight, you don't make more cells, they just get bigger. So what happens during the shrinking phase where the body is using that stored fat for energy? Well, it's more than likely not what you think it is. So all of the fat that's stored and used in your body doesn't just get turned to energy. It doesn't magically just get turned into muscle either, and consequently muscle doesn't turn into fat either. And it also doesn't just come out with your solid waste like a lot of people tend to think it does. But it has to go somewhere, right? But that is the beauty of what we call the conversion of mass. As much as people would love it, fat doesn't just magically disappear. So the fat inside your body is released into the bloodstream as something called triglycerides. Now, triglycerides are metabolized into a variety of different energy sources through a lot of very complex and complicated metabolic pathways that we're not going to go into in this video. And the process isn't 100% efficient as much as we would love it. Our bodies are not perfect and they don't run at 100% efficiency. So there are byproducts, there are waste products to the fat metabolizing process. Those waste products are predominantly water and carbon dioxide. So some of the water that is released through the fat burning process is excreted in the usual ways, through sweat and through urine. But what most people don't actually know is that the vast majority of the waste product produced is carbon dioxide, and that is released through the regular way with which we get rid of carbon dioxide from our body, and that is breathing. So yeah, that's right. What you actually probably didn't know is that the majority of the byproduct of fat burning gets mixed with the CO2 in your lungs and you breathe it out. You are not literally breathing out fat, but that's where a lot of it is coming out, through your breath. It's a roughly 80-20 split. 80% you breathe out, the other 20% is what's released through sweating, urination, going to the bathroom, etc. So that's something to think about next time you're at the gym and you're slogging it out and you're sweating hard, is that fat loss may seem relatively difficult and challenging, but in essence, it's almost as easy as breathing. Now, as much as we would love it if we could just sweat, cry and breathe heavily and we'd lose weight and have a six-pack, of course it's not that easy. Still comes down to the diet and getting the training right. But in my next video, we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of getting a six-pack. It's one of the most desirable things that people want on their body, but there's risk versus reward. And is it worth trying to pursue having abs? That's the topic of the next video. As always, if you guys enjoyed this one, feel free to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. You can follow me over on my Instagram at Schiavone PT, where I post regular stuff and things on my stories every single day. As always, feel free to check out these other YouTube videos on fat loss, fitness, lifestyle in general. Thank you guys very much for watching. See you in the next video.